Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. So in this video, I'll try to explain about the front-end technologies under the client-side scripting. So the front-end is comprised of the HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So this is how and where the website is displayed to the users. In other words, the front-end technologies in the web development is referred to the what the users can see when they deal with the web application or the website. When we talk about the back-end technologies, the back-end is comprised of your servers and the databases. So this is where the functions, the method, and the data manipulation happen that you don't want the client to see it. So we focus on the front-end technologies, the client-side scripting. So we have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML is the hypertext markup language. This language give or provide the structure to the web pages and the website, so the web browsers know what to display to the user. For the CSS, it stands for the cascading style sheets. This one enable web designers to control the colors, the fonts, the animation, and the transitions on the website. So CSS make the web look good. Okay, example of the CSS, how the CSS work. When you use your Microsoft Word, when you use Microsoft Word, at the top, under the home panel, home menus, you can see the style. The heading 1, the heading 2, heading 3, the subtitle. So that are the style using in the Microsoft. So the CSS also work as that kind function. So similar like the way they work in the Microsoft Word. And then another things that we have is JavaScript, or the scripting language. So also known as the programming language. For JavaScript, supported by all the web browsers, so easy to deal with the JavaScript. So the programming language are the languages that allow you to communicate with the computer and tell them what to do. So among the many available, there is no concept of being better than the other. So we have a lot of programming language. Most of the programming language allow you to communicate with the computers, and there is don't compare on the what is the better programming language. Most of them are similar. They have the function to allow you to communicate through the server or through the computer. So it depends on the capability of the programmer or the web developer itself. In order to let your web application work, there are two programs run at the same time. The first one is the code that live on the server and respond to the HTTP request. So that part is referred to the server-side code. The second one is the code that live in the browser and respond to the user inputs. And this one is referred to the client-side code. So let's look at the client-server scripting versus server-side scripting. Okay, in terms of the definition, client-side scripting is used when the users or browsers already has all the codes and the page are altered on the basis of the user input. For the server side, it used to create dynamic pages based on the numbers of condition when the user's browser make a request to the server. Okay, in terms of the execution process, the web browser execute the script on the user's computer, while for the server-side scripting, the server execute the script at the server, then this produce the page to be sent to the browser. Okay, in terms of accessing the web page, for the client-side scripting, it cannot be used to connect to the database and unable to access file on the web server because it only deal with the local, with the browsers. For the server side, it used to connect to the database and access the file on the server. For blocking part, it's possible to be blocked by the user when they use the web browsers. For the server side, it cannot be seen or it cannot be blocked by the user while they use the web application. Okay, comparing on the response time, the client side is more faster compared to the server side because the server side, there is a certain time they need in order to access to the server or connect from the local PC to the server side. So it takes a longer time compared to the client side scripting. In terms of the use, for the client side scripting, it used for the interactive web pages. So it interacts with the temporary storage at the local part, at the local storage, provide the interface between the user and the server, and it will help the user to send a request to the server and provide remote access for the client server program. For the server-side scripting, this server-side scripting used for process the input that entered by the users and then display the requested pages through the web browser. And then it also used to structure the web application when you develop an application, web application. So it helps you to structure your web application. It also responsible for the interaction between the server and the storage, refer to data file or the databases, and encode the data into the HTML. So there are the difference between the client side and the server side. Okay, the next part we go for the advantages of the client side and the server side. For the client side, it immediately responds to the user action when you use the scripting. It executes quickly and may improve the website's usability. It also can be substituted with the alternative if the browser does not support the script. So different browsers have different capability in order to support the script. So reusable and obtainable from free resources. That's for the client-side scripting. Okay, for the server-side scripting, this scripting allows the user to create one template for the entire website. You can use content management system to deal with the data and quicker to load compared to the client-side scripting. It also able to include the external file to save coding because it deal with the file at the server side, so it able to include the external file. The script are hidden and more secure. You cannot see the code, the script. If you use just an HTML, you can right hand click and view code in your browser. But for the server-side scripting, it is hidden script and does not require plugin like Java or Flash. If you use the client side, you may need to install the Flash if it play around with the animation, and certain part it need you to install the Java. Okay, and then the last part we discuss about the disadvantages of the client side and the server side. So not all browsers support the script, and different browser and different version of browsers support script differently. So in order to let your client-side scripting work well, you need to test or you need to do thorough testing on the browser's version. So more time and effort for the development because you have different browser, different version, different testing, different development. Okay, for the server side, the page postback can introduce processing overhead So it will lead to the decrease of the performance of your web application and force the user to wait for certain period. And many script and content management system tools require database to store the dynamic data. So you must have the database management system DBMS in your server. And it also requires scripting software to be installed on the server before you can use that scripting languages. And dynamic script can create new security concerns. So hackers are very happy with that part. So that's all for the client server, for the client side and server side scripting. Hopefully you can understand what is the front end technology compared to the back end technology in the web development. So that's all. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum.